And we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. Welcome to the show. This is Mark Vlogs Watches, and I am host, Mark Goldberg. Throat clear, hold still. And we're back. So today we have a surprise sort of live stream for you today. It's impromptu. It's a sad thing. The implosion of the Titan. It really is a sad thing. There was a 19-year-old kid on that vessel, brought along by his father. So, but we are here to talk a little bit about that event, and I'm going to tease this out for a while until we get a little bit of viewership in the room, meaning all like 7-8 people that that will show up. And then we'll talk about my discovery of the watch that presumably almost certainly went down with the Titan. But before we get to that, I have to welcome the one, the only rancher. Before I bring the rancher in, let me beg you, let me plead with you. Do not unsubscribe. He's my friend. I always lose a couple subscribers every time the rancher appears. Actually, even every time I just do a live stream. So stick with me. I'm glad that you're here. Jared is saying that this is clickbait gold, and it may be, but I don't think so. I believe this is real, and you'll see why soon as we get into the discussion. But first, I would like to introduce the Titanic of friends, the man who literally would go down with the ship if I asked him to, the one, the only, Clyde, the Rancher Anderson. Good morning, Clyde. Good afternoon.
Hey, how's it going?
Good day. Thank you for joining me.
Dad, I don't want to go on your stupid submarine. Shut up, son. It's not going to kill you.
Please do remember that you're promised to behave before you even entered the live stream. But in that same vein, I remember thinking, hey, let's go see Titanic. Okay, Dad. And then, God bless it, I thought we were going to the movies, Dad. But here we are. Of course, there are a lot of jokes have been made, a lot of memes have been made, but that's not what the object is. We're not here to make fun of the dead. Hallowed be thy name, are we? We're here to talk about the watch because, Clyde, I have discovered the nature of at least one of the watches that if it did not explode into a kabillion pieces, is somewhere under there, under the water, under Newfoundland, resting amongst the souls of the Titan and the Titanic as we speak. So I'm going to take my time about revealing that, but that will be revealed on this live stream. Don't you worry about that. This is not clickbait. There is an actual finding. But before we get to that, what the punters are going to want to know, Clyde, is are you willing to go on the Titan 2 Voyage 1 in search of that watch?
No.
Now, why is that? I was pretty sure you'd say yes.
Because, number one, at that depth, it was literally like it's the equivalent of 300,000 pounds per square.
No,
foot.
It's $1 million. It was $1 million. About $1 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I see inflation. See, it was like 300,000 pounds back in 2019, but then after the pandemic.
What if it made us smaller? What if it was like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? You go down there and you just come back like 2 feet tall, like Marty. Like maybe that's what happened. Anyway, we should leave Marty out. We should leave Marty out of this. Absolutely. But yes, or who else? Never mind. Don't say it.
No.
Don't say it, Clyde. Let's stay out of trouble.
No, Renfield. We're talking about Renfield. The Minotaur's familiar.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, those of you who are watching us live right now, first of all, I would like to thank you for joining us. We will be mentioning your names and greeting you shortly, but I would like you to understand in advance that something terrible happens when you put Rancher and me together. And that is, we're fairly terrible human beings all on our own individually, but Clyde, I feel like we're a little bit like vinegar and baking soda. You put us together and then there's a reaction and we become more volatile and less predictable and more terrible, in tandem than we ever were individually.
That's true. But on the other hand, well, yeah, but I think we're at our absolute worst when we're together on the other channel.
You mean Archie? You could say the name. Say the name. Say my name. Well, this is true. But listen,
the master of Renfield.
You're familiar. The peace has been struck. Tranquility reigns over the Shire once again. Sauron has been put back in his cave.
Sauron? I didn't know Sauron lived in a cave.
But the ring of tranquility has been thrown into the volcano, and we're well. I don't know. I don't want to say that we're friends with Archie, because why aren't we friends with Archie, Clyde? Because
he has no friends.
There we go. However, we are friendly with Archie, and there's
we're détente. We are experiencing détente.
What is would you say it is détente, or is it is there an element of also of glasnost?
Openness? No.
No, just the détente part. Okay.
Exactly.
Stefan, hey, Brian Oblivion, the Rolex is all that's left. Well, I can't comment quite yet. We'll get there though. Is it a Rolex, Clyde? What do you think the chances are that it's a Rolex down there?
Well, it could be a glass suit.
Could be a lot of things. I mean, after all, these were billionaires, down there. But yeah, we'll get there soon. Val Brandon with the first fist and respectos. Sebi notes that it has been a while, and that it has. What's been going on with me, Clyde, is that I've been writing my little guts out on this very computer on which I am speaking to you right now.
Which is a MacBook Air 13-inch with an M1 chip.
Which because you were the guy who told me to wait. Don't buy anything until this one comes out, and I'm glad I did. Yeah. So, the boyfriend accidentally soaked the charging port with water, and I have like 2/3 of a book written in this freaking computer, and then it quit working. I mean, it fritzed completely out. So I was hailing Mary, even though I'm Jewish. I'm leaving no stone unturned. As I went to the Apple store, unfortunately, the motherboard wasn't wet. It was just $100 change of charging ports. But that was a pretty damn big scare.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Always have your stuff backed up. Always.
Well, that is true, and I did, and I do. I learned that lesson a while ago, and I have a Dropbox account. And so everything, all my writing is saved in the Dropbox. So, well, Clyde, this is the first edition of The Art of Training Your Dog. The second edition has a Labrador Retriever on the cover, but I don't have one of those handy right now. Although I could probably, Clyde, I should be able to show a website. How do I do it? let me see. There's a way. Share screen. I mean, guys, I'm not good at this. Present. Do I hit present? Present, share, screen. Hold on, I'm working on this. Select a tab to share. AOL News. All right, let's go to that.
Order arms.
And let's share. Right. But then I should be able to get into that and then go to Amazon. Are you seeing that on screen? Are you seeing the AOL nonsense on screen? Okay, cool. So let's go to Amazon.com.
Hunter Biden.
Oh, I figured it out. Well, you're seeing this now, right? All right, that's cool. And let's put in my name, Mark Goldberg, dog training. And okay, so here we are. Now, this is the current edition of The Art of Training Your Dog. You see, it's got some nice reviews there. Nearly 5 stars. Look at that. There's always a 1-star. There's always a 1 and 2-star person out there, but most people like it quite a bit.
Yes.
So that's out right now as we speak. But and then of course there's Let Dogs Be Dogs. That was my first book with the monks. Right. And then this puppy right here. This
literally this puppy.
Well, these puppies, yeah, and not referring to one of your ex-wives. We're not referring to Garbage Fire when we say these puppies.
Those puppies were a lot bigger.
Anyway, so this book is done. It's at the printer. The publisher will have it out shortly, and it's on pre-order right now, as you can see here. Mm-hmm. If you're interested in games, tricks, and socialization for puppies and dogs, then you can pre-order this. Okay, so now let me see about how to get back to StreamYard and me. I don't know how to do it. Hold on. Stop screen. Oh, it got easier. Okay, that's cool. Thank you for bearing with me, gentlemen, as I figured it out. StreamYard, I haven't used it in a while, but it has gotten significantly better. So tell me, Clyde, before we literally dive in to the Titan and its tragedy and what watch. There's the rancher I know and love. What's happening? What are you getting? What are we talking about? And most importantly of all, what's the quick fist watch check of the day? For me, it is the Sprite, coordinating with my rumpled green T-shirt.
Where I'm wearing the Apple Watch, of course, but what's been getting more attention all over again, what's been getting re-attentioned,
yes,
is, of course, the Lyrique.
Of course, and why? Why is the Lyrique all?
Because Watchfinder just came up with it. Well, some people were mad because they thought it was clickbaity, but apparently Andrew with Watchfinder is completely in love with the Lyrique #1.
I didn't really find it clickbaity. Let me show the guys a moment or two of the video. Give me a second. Let me show them what we're talking about when it comes to the Lyrique. Guys, I'm not going to show the whole video, obviously, but give me a second here. Let me go to share screen.
He'll show this whole video if you guys don't start upvoting. No,
I'm not going to do that. But let's see. YouTube Watchfinder Lyrique. And this should bring us to the crazy cheap watch. There we go.
Buy 4 tires and get up to $250.
Tires. Truck tires.
Expensive.
Truck tires. They're cheap.
Used more in the context of life now than ever before. Everything is more expensive. It's crazy to even think about it, but even the high-end luxury watch market is feeling the pinch. Bless. The cheapest quartz FP Journe you can buy today costs pretty drastic.
What have I done, Clyde? What have I done?
You switched to another video.
This is a word however, drives up demand and therefore cost, not to mention increasing price of parts. It's estimated that materials alone have jumped up 40% in the last few years.
40%.
That's where Bill Sanders of YouTube channel Watch Art Sci decided he'd had enough. Now, there are many reasons why the price of a watch, or indeed anything, goes up. Limited run watches are made in small numbers, so they need more money.
Okay, guys. Well, I recommend that you look up that Watchfinder video on the Lyrique, and you will learn more about Clyde's good decision. Clyde, you took so much crap for your investment in that watch. You were one of the 51 guys along with Bill. Yep. In the Lyrique. I like everybody else poked fun at you for months until you got tender and sensitive about it, and so I stopped because I was worried you were reaching your limit with me. But you get the last laugh because you own Lyrique watch serial number what?
Number 2.
What? Say it again.
The second one made.
Yeah,
serial number 2.
Who was the first one?
Bill Sanders. That's the second one.
There you go. Yes, the godfather of the Lyrique. And as I said on Archie, I'm so glad that Bill gets to be known for, on his epitaph, I was really afraid it would just have a beret, and now it will have a Lyrique. So it's an upgrade. He's got an upgrade on his epitaph, and I'm happy for him. Anyway, good for you guys. Well fisted. So that's what's happening in your world is you are enjoying the I told you so dance of the Lyrique.
No, not really, because there are ignorant little twats everywhere. They're even popping up, of course, even on the Watchfinder. And it's just like, just another generation of little trolls.
You know what though? Like, forget about that for a second. Let's stick to facts, not emotions. To your knowledge, because I know the answer to this question, but as a good lawyer, I'm going to only ask you questions that I already know the answers to. To your knowledge, what was the purchase price the last Lyrique that sold on the secondary market, how much did it go for?
I can't tell you offhand.
I can. I see you'd prefer not to discuss it, but I am not sworn to secrecy. It went for $25,000. This much you can talk about, Clyde. What was the original purchase price of that watch?
10,000. Well, 10,000 Swiss francs was the official purchase price.
Is that what you paid for your number two? I thought it was a little less. Like this guy's talking about $7,000.
It's quite a bit less.
Okay, so the original purchase price of these watches was around $7,200.
I will neither confirm nor deny that.
You don't have to. I'm gonna do it for you. So what I think it's pretty easy to see that you have more than tripled your investment, and it's a cool watch, and I think you should keep it. That's anyway.
Right.
Okay, so listen, guys, I'm going to take a quick look at these comments to see if there's anything of note that we should talk about. Throw in any questions you have about watches, particularly Rolex, and then give me another couple minutes, and we are going to get on towards discussing the actual, my knowledge of the watch that should be at the bottom of the ocean unless it imploded too, but it went down with the ship. And we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to identify it. Let's see. So Jared wants to know if it was a squally. Yeah, no, I don't think it was a squally. And Jared is laughing at the poor boat, but that poor kid's mother, 19.
Yep.
Good evening from Lakeland, and to you, Kevin. Matthew, I am glad to be back. Yes.
On the other hand, the English billionaire, I've been reading that there have been people are keeping up with his son, who apparently is maybe ideally not on the best of terms with his father, it sounds like, or might have some even bigger emotional issues than I do. But he's just like literally posting stuff on social media like, hey, thanks for everyone for posting their love and support. I lost my dad. This Blink-182 concert is awesome. Woohoo!
Are you messing with us now, Clyde?
No. Literally, the kid was posting this kind of stuff on social media.
Well, they're gonna have to see if he's got like a hammer or a screwdriver somewhere in his possession with like pieces of carbon metal titanium fibers, still stuck to them.
Carbon fiber.
Right. Okay. Jared, we could travel safely down inside Archie's belly. Well, I don't know about that, and I will tell you why. Because the Titanic is down at around, what is it, Clyde? I think right around 4,000 meters, a little over 4,000 meters. And I think the deepest the sperm whale has ever been recorded going down is like less than half of that.
But on the other hand, the sperm whale does not have hydrogen release valves built into the side of his head either.
Clyde, he has a blowhole.
Still.
Anyway, yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm egging you on. So, but if you think about it, why would the sperm whale need to go down that deep? And that's because the prey of the sperm whale, which is
cereal to offer the passengers of the Titan, Captain Crutch.
They don't go down there. They don't go down there either. That's terrible. They don't go down there either. So that's why, maybe we'll find all of Archie's stolen collection at the bottom. Possible. 5,600 PSI at the depth of Titanic, and I would have hit the watch and everything else in the sub like a hammer. True, but I'm about to tell you the watch, and it is a watch that is extremely robust. Robust. Finally, another live stream from Goldberg or Mark. Thank you,
Prof.
I am happy to be here. Dr. TikTok, hello there from Florida. Guys, what it is, the reason I haven't been hardly making videos at all is because I have been writing books. And when I do that, I don't know, like, okay, you know how my channel says watches, is it an obsession? Is it an illness? Is it a hobby? Well, this is because I'm very tunnel vision, very obsessed when I get into stuff. And so as I've gotten into watches, I was unable to think about anything but watches. But when I shift over to books, I can't think about anything other than books. And that's where I've been for like the last year. With my co-author, I wrote that The Joy of Playing with Your Dog, which I showed you guys a little bit earlier in this stream. It's available for pre-order right now, and it'll be in time for Christmas gifts for any of the dog lovers in the audience or their families.
He's
but
really been so busy authoring, he hasn't had time to go on Archie.
well, no, I make a little time because then I'm not responsible for anything. I just show up, watch the mess, and hang up. You know. But I mean, Clyde, it takes alcohol for me to be able to tolerate it.
Yes, true.
You know. But I'm at the current moment, I'm writing 2 other books, and I've gotten to the point where I'm now writing 2 books simultaneously. I just toggle back and forth between them according to which one I feel like working on. And those will be out, I don't know, maybe 2025 and 2026, I think is how it works. Books are so slow. It not only takes a long time to write them, but then the publishing on the publisher's end, terribly slow. Plus, they sell them even more expensive than the other secondhand watch dealers. I think he's talking about the Larique, probably. Famous last words at Titan's launch. Next stop, the bottom of the ocean. No doubt. Valen, 13,000 feet. Yeah, but 13,000 feet divided by 3,000 is what? It's like 4,000 meters.
Yeah. Well, and also one of the things when we're talking about like extreme adventure tourism, no, seriously, is that this is like the deadliest year ever on Mount Everest as well.
Yes. Well, no, that's true. And people die on Mount Everest all the time. In fact, there's like a bunch of frozen bodies up there. They're like mummified.
Rainbow Valley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is that what it's called?
And it's not because they're gay. It's because of the brightly colored. It's because of the bright.
Yeah. Jared says I should write a novel about the community, and he's referring to the watch community. The problem is, if I did that, nobody would believe me.
That's true.
You know, I don't believe anything. Okay, so one of the unfortunates who went down with the ship is a Frenchman, a French explorer, like a modern day Jacques Cousteau, and his name was the dearly departed Paul-Henri Nargeolet. And I am not very good with the French, so I'm unsure about how to say his last name, Nargeolet, but you can see it up there, Paul-Henri. Okay, Paul-Henri. Now,
let me try and take a shot at it.
Leave him alone, he's dead. Okay, so but here's why we're talking about Paul-Henri. He was the pilot. I believe he was the pilot. Now, the Stafford, what was the name of the other guy who went down? The CEO of the thing, he wasn't necessarily piloting. So, but the pilot was this guy here. Now, there's a very well-known YouTuber. Hang on, let me see if I can find him for you guys. And we'll take a quick look at his video. Bear with me. This guy has 13.5 million subscribers. So this is a big YouTuber. Let me make Clyde stop whistling. And then I'm going to get onto the screen. We're going to share screen again. Hold on, I'm going to find it. And share. Now, I got to look up this guy. Bear with. DALLMYD. Titanic sub. Okay, so you should take a look at this video. This fellow right here.
Meet Grammarly Go, your go-to solution for getting quality work done quickly.
With the whole world watching the rescue efforts of the missing submarine around the Titanic, I thought I'd share my experience of Mission 3 just a few weeks ago. And if my dive wasn't canceled, it could have been me inside that submarine today.
Okay, so here he is shown. Let me just play this last little clip.
The picture taken of Stockton Rush and I, the owner of OceanGate.
Stockton Rush. So the guy on the left was the CEO. He was on the vessel also. So he died in this calamity as well. And the kid on the right.
Is that Ari's guy's son, by the way?
There is a
JJ LeCoute.
Yeah, a little bit. He has an accent. But Clyde, I don't know. This kid is doing something right because he's got 13.5 million subscribers. So he is doing something right. And guys, I urge you to take a look at this video, because what he has done here is he was signed up for Mission 3. And Mission 3 was aborted due to weather and technical difficulties. But he filmed a lot on the mothership. And
We can't really use that word around here after the recent Supreme Court ruling.
But here's what I want to show you. Let me just give me a second. Let me find the spot that I want to see where they sign the flag, because they make a flag for every one of these missions. Here we go. You can see in the little sub picture there, they're signing this flag. Let me just back it up a little bit and play it from here.
OceanGate Expeditions brings a flag for every mission. Again, we were on mission 3, so here I am signing the flag. I'm not going to show you everyone signing the flag, of course. And then also, here's a shot of Stockton.
Now, Stockton Rush, he's the CEO, and as you can see here, he's either not wearing a watch at all, or which makes him a very sick man, or it's under that cuff. But I think we'd see it if there was a watch.
The owner of Ocean Expeditions signing the flag. And also here's a shot of.
Now, this is the part that you have to pay attention to, because here is Paul-Henri Nargeolet, who is about to sign the flag for Mission 3, the aborted mission that was called off due to weather and technical reasons. And therefore, that kid didn't get killed.
A PH signing a flag. Both Stockton and PH passed away. And
Now, it's a little blurry in this, but let's advance it a smidge.
the submerged.
Take a look, Clydesy. What do you think?
Golly. Is it your
Nope. I do not have this watch. But what gives it away for me is the bezel and the hands.
is it a two-tone bluesy?
It is not.
Okay.
So, guys, now that you've had a good look at that, let's zero in one more time. Right now, I cannot see the comments, but well, give me a second. I'll
read the comments. Planet Ocean, Doxa.
Well, are those separate comments, or is that one comment?
No, Jared Coffin, Doxa. Jared Coffin, Planet Ocean, Amberix. Planet Ocean. Liar Lug, says Jared Coffin.
That, my friends, is one form or another of a Planet Ocean. That's what we're looking at there. You can see the arrowhead hand on the minute and the hour hand. It's an aluminum bezel from the looks of it. So this is not a brand new one, but this is to my eye, this is a Planet Ocean. Okay, let me stop sharing that page. Go back to
he wasn't wearing a belly ocean.
So here, I will show it again, Clydesy, because I have a screenshot of that.
You have a screenshot.
I do. Bear with, and I'm going to show
Alibaba knockoff, says Danger Will Robinson.
Yeah. So here we have it.
Oh.
I can't really turn it the right way, but yeah. So that's what we got. That is the watch presumably worn on Mission 5. Certainly, Paul-Henri, the pilot, was preparing to wear that on Mission 3. Now, what's really interesting is listening to the data that's coming out now and the commentary that was made by James Cameron. Ironically, these guys were not wearing James Cameron, which is rated down to, I don't remember the rating on my own watch. I think mine's good down to 12,000 feet, which is what, 4,000 meters. Yeah, so the James Cameron would just about make it down there. And one of the Planet Oceans, I think, is rated down to 6,000 meters, or maybe I'm thinking of the Ploprof. But of course, theoretically they were in a pressurized vessel, so it really wouldn't have mattered. But James Cameron has been speaking out about this, and his problem with the vessel was the carbon fiber material. He said it gets weaker with every use. And so the problem is that that vessel should have gone down once, twice at the max. But on every successful completion of the mission took it closer to disaster because the material would become weaker and weaker.
Well, yeah, compound stress fractures. It happens with everything. It happens with aircraft. It happens.
Yeah.
It even happens with artillery pieces.
And
You fire enough pieces, rounds out of a cannon. You have to keep track of that stuff. You have to keep track of what the powder load is, because that takes a toll over time.
Now, Clyde, let me help the punters. Let me help you people out there understand why Clyde has just made the seemingly left turn into artillery, which it's not. It's consistent with the nature of this discussion. But guys, Clyde, the guys don't necessarily know that you were an officer in the reserves assigned to an artillery platoon, division, squad, whatever, right? You were an arty guy, correct?
Battery.
Okay, there we go. You were with the artillery battery of Patton's Army Regiment number 3, right? Patton's number 3, the battalion, 3rd Battalion,
Actually,
First
Patton's 3rd Army.
I Corps. But and also, Clyde, I'm sure you have probably studied many times since you've been in the military now. Exactly how many times can you drop a howitzer shell before you have to throw it away and you can no longer use it? Because if I recall your Army days, you dropped one, right?
Oh, well, generally it's if it's point contact, you drop it
once. One and done.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it, actually, for the shell and for the self-enclosed howitzer that you dropped it in,
and the personnel. Yeah, but the difference, of course, here. Let's get back.
And also the careers of the people in charge.
Right. Yes. Well, I noticed you never did move beyond 2nd lieutenant.
1st lieutenant, actually. Well, thank you.
Oh, did you? All right. Well, good for you. Good for you, Clydesy. Good for you. Honorable discharge.
If I pay in advance for trip 6, I'm pretty much screwed for a refund, huh?
Honorable discharge, Clyde.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, nice. Okay. Cool. All right. Good.
Yeah.
Then you could still get the officer's discount at the
pleasant discharge as well.
Well, what this means is if you ever get out of Oklahoma and you go to Hawaii, you can stay at the hotel next to Fort DeRussy for officers, discounted, and shop at the PX.
No. That's if you have to pretty much retire as an officer.
Ah, I see.
Okay. I cashiered out. I left.
All right. Well, good for you. And ever since you've been defending the criminal element.
Now, Jared Coffin also said the 7-inch plexiglass window would bend and flex.
Yeah, so that could have been a problem too. And I did read about that.
Yeah.
Here. I'm not going to go to this guy's channel, but I watched a really excellent engineer with a very good YouTube channel really break down what we know about carbon fiber. And what he said was, we don't know it. It has not been studied. Whereas aluminum, the stresses of aluminum and high strength steel have been studied for 100 years. So we know everything about the molecules and the failure rates on those substances, but carbon fiber, it's pretty new and it has not been used enough to be fully.
Well, and carbon fiber it's not uniform. Different people make it. It's like
went down. What did that vessel had? Was it 3 successful missions? At least, if not 4. But anyway, it is a sad thing. But so what I wonder is, now your howitzer shell fortunately didn't explode, which is why you are with us. And the Titan,
it wasn't a point contact; it was a variable time. So
but
it was still we still ship bricks though.
Well, let me ask you a question. The variable timing means that the timer starts on an impact?
No, it's basically
a detonator.
Basically, it's a little radio receiver.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So basically, you fire this thing, and then how does the radio receiver know to go off?
It's set for to interact with the frequency, basically.
Oh dear God! Did you tell me that you fucked up? Did you fuck up a $1 million tow missile? Is that what I'm hearing now?
No, I did not.
It's better and better.
This was not fired using feet in any fashion whatsoever.
The TOW missile is not fired using feet either, but it has a wire guidance system. But that's all.
Tube contained optically sighted wire guided missile system, sir.
There we go. But actually, isn't that's terribly outdated now, because then they went to laser and now they've got GPS, right?
Well, yes and no, because TOW is still the of course, you get if sharp enough person could basically see the wire, say, "Oh, okay, well, there's something coming towards us. Let's trace the wire back where that's at, and see who fired it."
Well, Clyde, I've got about 5 more minutes for this stunt that we're pulling here right now, this cunning stunt. But I want to just kind of get back to the Titan and the perceived planet ocean that I think we've identified on the wrist of the pilot, Paul Henri, whatever his last name was, and Negligee. Was it Negligee? Something like that.
Negligee.
And now, if that watch was involved, I mean, we're going to need an engineer to tell us, is it vaporized or could it be down there? Apparently, the engineer and actually, and James Cameron too, I believe, both agreed on one thing, that they're not going to find bodies. That the vessel that is the human being is fragile, and particularly at those depths, an implosion where everything goes in before it goes out would have vaporized and liquefied the people.
I actually had friends after I left Pennsylvania. They had outside of Pittsburgh. They had a U.S. air crash. Airliner went down. Extended video. So I actually knew people that had graduated undergrad and they were working in the medical field. And God help the poor bastards. They were the new people were on call when this disaster happened. And the thing is, what they found is they thought there was a bunch of masks in fields.
Yes.
And it wasn't masks, but because the human body impacted the ground at such force and impact, it basically crushed and pulverized the bones, but the skin and the flesh, being somewhat elastic, halfway stayed together. So it looked like a bunch of masks.
So, you know what I find most remarkable about that story?
About my story or the story of the Titan?
The story you just told.
Yes.
How did you begin that story?
I can't tell you how I began that story.
Well, tell the story again. And I'll stop you at the right time.
Well, my friends. I had friends.
Stop. I love being me. Yeah. You had friends. I'm so happy that, I'm just glad to know that at some stage in your life, you had friends other than me, because I fear that right now, myself, Tan, Jen, Ron, I'm afraid that we're Bruce. I'm afraid that we're all you have. That's all. I'm glad they're all right. Okay.
No, actually, and one of my friends from undergrad retired as a colonel in the Air Force.
Wow,
and,
that's
back in that door. Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, look. So the mystery has been solved. Let it not be said that this is clickbait. I will just show, because people tune in at various times, so I'm just going to show it really quick again. This is the pilot of the poor unfortunate pilot who went down with the vessel. He worked for the company. He piloted the Titan, and here he is wearing his watch. This is the watch that's on his wrist. These stills were taken from screenshotted from I want to give credit where credit is due. They were given. They were not given. They were screenshotted from a video shot by Dallmyd, Dallmyd, and you can find this. You can find this video on his excellent channel. He's got 13.5 million. He's a real big YouTuber. But I would take a look at this, and look, I'm going to show this to you just so you guys can freeze frame and find this video, because I feel like you should watch it, because this kid went on the vessel, and very, very lucky guy. He and his girlfriend went together. I'm assuming they were probably invited by the company because they were going to give it and did give it enormous publicity. I'm sure this video that I'm talking about right now is going to wind up with millions of views. Actually, he put it up only 2 days ago, and it already has 3.5 million views. So it's just sad.
David Pogue was going to go down in it, I think. And David Pogue, the technology journalist.
Yeah. I'm sure what they were doing was, creating buzz about the, creating buzz about the company. It's privately held, and everybody is talking about the fact that it was $250,000 for a ticket, and that sometimes they discounted it, by $100,000 and made it only $150,000 if they had a spare seat. Apparently, they did that a couple times, and people are saying that that's outrageous. But when I watched the video by the engineer discussing this, he said, no, it was cheap. And he said, and in fact, it was too cheap. And here's why. He said the tickets should have really been more like $1 million to $1.5 million each, because if they had been, then the company would have had the money to have the craft inspected, micro inspected, like spectrometer inspected, and strengthened after every trip. And then they also would have been able to retire the Titan 1, Titan 2, Titan 3. They only had the Titan, but they would have been able to retire the vessel. He said, this is a vessel that should have gone down one time and then gone to the Smithsonian. And that's exactly that's what James Cameron.
Well, it's also like the space shuttles. They shouldn't have went up. They're talking about, it's reusable, but they would have to replace so many tiles on each one. And it wasn't.
I think they figured out how to refurbish those. Like that's NASA. Now, mind you, they lost one. I don't remember the year. It was in the 80s. Did they?
Yes.
Were they both manned?
Yes.
The one I remember was the Challenger, but
even one of them.
Yeah, terrible stuff. But anyway, listen, this stuff is dangerous.
Was the Challenger? Was that the one that broke up going up? One broke up and went up. Yeah, went the little wide. The little boosters went two directions. I thought,
right.
The other one, it broke up as it was coming down.
There are a number of people who have died either during space exploration or during the Apollo and Gemini days leading up to it. But when you add up
Apollo 1 with the 3 astronauts lost in the
Gus Grissom and Ed White, and it's a shame I don't still have this, but I don't remember how old I was when that which Apollo was that, Clyde, with Gus Grissom on it?
Apollo 1.
Okay, so I was in elementary school when that happened, 3rd, maybe 4th grade, and I remember being devastated about that because we followed it in school and at home. We followed them, and I remember being devastated. And I remember asking my mother if I could write to the wives, to the widows, and I did.
Roger Chaffee was the pilot.
I see. And so I wrote to the widows, and 2 of them wrote me back. Pat White, who was Ed White's wife, and Gus Grissom's wife, whose name I don't remember. And I kept the letters for years, but I moved a million times as I grew up, and then so I have no idea where those are. But it would be quite something to still have those. And then when I was 11 years old, I got my first dog, and I named him Gus. For Gus Grissom. So that's something I never really said before, but that is the reality of it. Okay. Anyway, this stuff is dangerous, and you do have to applaud the people who are willing to take risks to do the research, but so it's more than just like, hey, I'm going to go take a thrill ride for $250,000. It probably wasn't expensive at all. It probably was too cheap, right? According to the authorities. Hindsight being 2020. If it had been $1 million or $2 million a ticket, they could have replaced the damn thing every couple trips, and they would probably still be able to do it. All right. Well, Clyde, have you got any last words before I sign us out? Show you once again the quirky little sprite that I like so much, the left-handed Destro watch. Tell you what, Clyde, what's nice is I don't get a crown digging into me ever with this watch.
Right.
No, left. It's a lefty.
Gotcha. Apollo Creed crashed into some big Russian dude. That's correct, Rob. That's correct. You know,
yeah, yes, Rob. Yes, he did.
Yep.
Well,
Please,
Jerry,
please, not on new GMT two-tone and all gold.
I mean, they're excellent. They're beautiful. Not everybody likes two-tone, but I don't think you could complain anything about it.
You might only have to. You put your name on the list. You might only have to wait 3 or 4 years for one.
Yeah, well, good luck. You know, I actually think, and if you have no buying history, you're going to wait 3 or 4 years for nothing. I don't think you'll ever get one. I mean, look, there's always the guy who opens his chocolate bar and there's the golden ticket. So I'm not telling you don't try.
Charlie.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I'm not saying don't try, but the odds are not ever in your favor. They really are not. But look, let's take a look at this. Let's go to Rolex and take a look at those two. What I think is particularly interesting about both of them is the bezel. So let's go to sharing the screen. We'll pick this sucker, and then we shall go to Rolex. I know I have one. Actually, I want that one. That's the one. I want that bloody one. I've got three OP41s, but I want that one. Hold on.
You've got 3 OP41s?
I do.
God.
I
Okay.
do.
Which color do you have? I know you have the Tiffany blue.
Okay, so that's one.
The Sea Oral.
No, I don't have the coral.
Blue?
Jin and I both got the same dial, but he got 36 millimeter and I got 41 in the what's called the bright blue, which is a sunray blue. I don't know why they call it bright blue. It's actually a dark blue, but I have that one.
Well,
Yes.
the people that buy it aren't, especially. Anyway.
And then I have the green one, but I'm waiting.
I have the green one too.
You do? You have the green one?
No, I did. I actually did when I got when it first came out. I'm like, nah.
Okay.
I didn't like the double indices.
Oh, I love that. I love that. The double-ended, look at those. You know what?
Lazy.
Oh, it's very well loomed though. See, for me, it's all about the loom. And so it has good loom. And even though the strips are quite narrow on the hands there, as you can see, it really does glow at night much, much better. And the double indices, for me, everything is about what's that watch look like at night. And this one looks brilliant at night. But you don't like change, Clyde. And so those double indices being a change, they would offend you. I get it.
Yes. And go ahead.
No, keep going.
No, and the one with all the ones with the different colored cum bubbles on the bottom of the dial. That's just like.
I think it's going to be brilliant. I think there's going to be 100 of them in existence, none of them in the wild, and so I'll be really happy to get a hold of one of those. Okay, so that's the platinum, I guess, with the platinum Daytona with the display case back. Right. We now need to find the GMT line. So let's see if we can find it.
We don't really have to.
Yeah, but we're gonna. Here it is. So this is the
we could just send them to Archie, and Archie he could give Archie a super chat and do the same question. Yeah. So you answering that question for free, you're basically taking money out of the mouth of Archie Luxury.
And wait, what's the problem with that?
There is none technically, but
exactly. We should continue. So
be curious.
Here's what I think. Here's what I think is particularly interesting about this. Is the bezel. Let's crank. I didn't realize that when I first started seeing this watch in videos. I didn't actually realize that it had a gray black differentiation on that bezel, Clyde. I thought it was all black because depending on the light, it can look that way. But I think that's very sharp. It's very rich looking, shown here on a Jubilee. Obviously in all gold. I think in all gold it's only on the Oyster, I think, or is there a gold Jubilee? Let's discover more. Let's discover more. Look at that loom. Beautiful.
Oh, they did. They're music brought to you by the 1980s.
So I love that. Honestly.
1980s, I did too.
No, I loved it, and I think that now in my mind, I'm comparing that to the root beer, the full gold root beer, and the. I think I like it better than the root beer. I'm going to go out on a limb because I don't think the root beer, the two-tone root beer, I don't believe that's available on a Jubilee. I think that's only on the Oyster. I think. Not 100%, but I don't know. I like it a lot. So that would be me.
Nice.
Clyde, did you know that we rule, Clyde?
No, I did not know that we ruled. I'd like to think it was more misrule.
Is there anybody here that JJ the Hutt can bully, Clyde? Is there anybody that you want to stick them on? Me either.
Other than you, no.
Welcome, JJ. Be with us. Be with us. Behave. Hugh does not like the root beer, and I'm waiting for the Sprite and wonder what you think about the new one. Well, I think the new one's cool. I mean, it's really cool. I love it. I think it'd be interesting to have that particular dial. I'd like to see it in. I'd like to see it in all steel because the Sprite is available in all steel. What do I think of the Sprite? I made a couple videos of it, so just look on my channel for my video on the Sprite. You'll find Mark Goldberg Sprite, and then you'll see it's a quirky watch. It's an unusual watch, but it's charming, and I like it a great deal. Clyde, one thing I can tell you, I can assure you about this watch that is different than any of the other Rolexes I have, and this is the newest of them. The loom, Clyde, the loom is probably 25% stronger.
Huh.
Same color, and I don't know if it's just this one or if it's just the Sprite or the GMT line or if across the board, Rolex at a certain point figured out how to squeeze 25% more luminosity, out of their chroma-lite. I don't know what or how. They really haven't discussed it. But you know who you should sick on this, Clyde? Sick Jake from Rolex Report on this burning question.
Rolex World?
Yeah, that's the one.
RolexMagazine.com.
That's it. Thank you for straightening me out.
Jake Ehrlich, son of the world famous criminal defense lawyer Jake Ehrlich.
Okay. I'm going to take your word for that part. But yes, sick him on the story. Jake.
You may have heard of the fictional character. You may have heard of the fictional character that was developed using his grandfather as a basis.
Let's get back to the loom. Jake, I want to know why this loom is so much stronger than any other Rolex loom I have, and I have a number of other ones. And this one is stronger than any of my Submariners that are even only 3 years old. Why is that? Anyway, and also, Clyde, Rolex Chroma-Lite lasts a very long time. I have a 2012 Rolex Submariner ceramic 40 millimeter, which, by the way, that was the first year that they did ceramic.
Right.
And so I have one.
Yes.
And its Chroma-Lite is strong. It's good. There's nothing wrong with it. It's quite good. It's just not as good as this, but neither is my Hulk, my gold Rolex, any of my newer Rolexes.
You get rid of all your other Rolexes and start getting ones all having the new Chroma-Lite. All
I know is something happened. And I want to know if the punters out there who have an older Rolex and like a shit spanking new one, like if you bought a Rolex that was manufactured, best of your knowledge, within, say, the last 1 year, 18 months, how does it compare with your Rolly from 3, 4, 5 years ago?
That would probably be an excellent question for its own little video, wouldn't it?
Yes, it probably would be, but I don't really have the wherewithal to do the research on that one. I mean,
No, you could just do another video and ask.
well, we're doing it right now. So here we are. Anyway, Jake,
or we could
remember,
come back.
Jake,
Or we
Jake,
could read
Jake, please, Clyde,
I'm not going to.
tell Jake, do it. Figure it out. Why is this so bright? I want to know. Why, Clyde? Tell me.
Yes.
That's what I thought. All right, Clyde, I'm going to let you take us out of this. What are your last words?
Who's taking out more millionaires?